Topping today's news, a man shot and killed in Nassau Village on Sunday night. The man arrested last week for an abduction and sexual assault in southwest New Providence, charged by police. A popular pastor says some women may use a potential marital rape law to lie on their partners. And we'll hear from the Minister of Health. He's at the World Health Assembly. And we'll hear from the... All right. Topping today's news, a man shot and killed in Nassau Village on Sunday night. A man arrested last week for an abduction and sexual assault in southwestern New Providence, charged by police. A popular pastor says some women may use a potential marital rape law to lie on their partners. And we'll hear from the Minister of Health, who's at a World Health Assembly in Switzerland. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jcn News. This is your JCN Evening News. It's a pleasure to have you join us. The country's murder count is up one notch after an adult male succumbed to gunshot injuries he sustained last night while in the Nassau Village community. Sometime before 9 p.m. Sunday, police were alerted via its ShotSpotter technology to gunshots discharged in Nassau Village. When officers arrived on the scene, they observed a gray Nissan Cube driven by a female exiting Jackson Street. The vehicle was intercepted, and officers found a male victim suffering from gunshot injuries inside that vehicle. It was reported that the victim was on Jackson Street near a local food takeaway when he was approached by occupants of a small gray Japanese vehicle who opened fire, wounding him to the upper left back. As a result, the victim, who was being assisted by a private vehicle or the owner of a private vehicle to the hospital, they were escorted to the hospital by police officers where he sought medical attention. However, while in hospital, he died a short while later. Police are seeking the public's help in locating the suspect responsible for this shooting incident. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Criminal Investigations Department or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, 328-8477. A 27-year-old male has been arrested and charged with rape and attempted rape. This past week, it was reported that the male, a resident of Lincoln Boulevard, was arrested in connection with a sexual assault that occurred in the area of Bacardi Road. Police now revealing that the suspect has been charged in connection with 3 counts of rape, armed robbery, and abduction incident that occurred between Friday, May 5th and Monday, May 15th. Police believe that during that time, while armed with a firearm, allegedly sexually assaulted 4 females and abducted a male. Meantime, a 19-year-old of East Street North was also arrested and charged with attempted rape. It is alleged that the suspect on Sunday, May 14th, attempted to sexually assault the victim against her will while assisting in cleaning a vacation home. Officers attached to the Sexual Offenses Unit of the Criminal Investigation Department made the arrests in both cases. The Court of Appeal has ordered a stay of the Adrian Gibson corruption trial pending the determination of the appeal. The notice of appeal for the embattled Long Island Member of Parliament was heard this morning before Justice John Isaacs. On May 4th, Gibson's lawyer, Muriel DeSeal, KC, sought declarations that Gibson's constitutional rights had been infringed due to the request of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Cordell Frazier, to give the evidence of the prosecution witness, Alexandria Mackey, by live television link. Included in the constitutional motion filed by DeSeal were 3 issues brought to the Crown, including whether there was adequate and proper disclosure by the prosecution to the application and whether Mr. Gibson would be disadvantaged if Ms. Mackey was allowed to testify by video link. Last week, Monday, Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson ruled that both applications were premature and they were dismissed. Gibson's lawyer appealed that dismissal. Court was adjourned until the 13th of June to allow Mr. DeSeal time for filed submissions. If not for the appeal, Mr. Gibson's trial would have begun tomorrow. He is charged, along with 5 others, on 98 counts, including conspiracy to commit bribery, fraud, money laundering, and receiving $1.1 million in payments from contracts awarded by the Water and Sewage Corporation while he was executive chairman there. Leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, is responding to claims by former Cabinet Minister Leslie Miller that he and others, other party members from the Free National Movement, coached the alleged victim of the sexual assault by Member of Parliament for North Abaco, Kurt Cornish. During a F&M Eastern Zone joint meeting, Mr. Pintard alleged that Leslie Miller lied about a very serious accusation.
That's why we need to fire them. My God! We need to fire them. Because there's one rule for them and there's a different rule for everybody else. That's why a young man could be accused of a dastardly act. And the police could take weeks before they even question him. And Leslie Miller could go on a television show and lie to say that I and others have met with this woman to coach her. Let me pause for a moment. So serious is the accusation of a woman being abused that we will play no politics in order to disadvantage her from finding justice. Let me repeat that. No member of our leadership team would seek to gain brownie points by pointing a finger at a man who's accused of carrying out such a dastardly, nasty, and wicked act against a sister.
Mr. Pintard goes on to say that no one in the F&M has ever met with the alleged victim. He says he and his party condemns rape and is disgraced that no one in the Progressive Liberal Party has responded to those claims.
And for Leslie, I wouldn't call the other persons, they don't count, to say on television that he knows for a fact, liar he is. We didn't meet with her. And it is shameful that we have not heard a peep out of that side. Those who speak loud about the empowerment of women, about the need for us to respect the dignity of our sisters, mothers, and daughters. We can tell you right now from this leadership team, don't run to us for comfort if that is your sin. We cannot cover you. We don't behave in that way like the Progressive Liberal Party.
Mr. Pintard asserts that these claims are one of many reasons that the PLP should be voted out of government during the next general election. Prominent pastor evangelist Rex Major voices opposition on marital rape. That topic is a hot topic here in the Bahamas, but he was delivering the sermon at the National Ecumenical Church service this past Sunday. During his sermon, Pastor Major told members of the government, dignitaries, and by extension the general public that he has trouble with the concept because people could lie.
And the easy way to get rid of this husband, which I don't want anymore, I can tell people he raped me. Now how you gonna prove it? His sperm is there anyway. All the time. What's the proof? And don't fool yourself. Some people will get rid of you like that. This is a critical issue here. Very critical. People lie. And they have liars with them. Because we don't want this man no more. I got my eye on something fresh. I'm serious. Let's be careful how we tread this road here now.
Pastor Major's comments received scattered approval from the audience members, but he also went on to condemn same-sex relations with affirmations about marriage and the family.
We rejoice. I do, that God created male and female. Two Adams wouldn't have gone nowhere. We must stand against sexual relations between man and woman. But we must treat them as human beings and try to win them back to the ways of God.
The outspoken pastor's comments came less than a week after Attorney General Senator Ryan Pinder revealed that the failure to criminalize marital rape was other countries' #1 human rights concern with the Bahamas. The Bahamas is one of few countries in the region to explicitly exclude marital rape from its definition of rape, except where a spouse or spouses are legally separated or subject to separation proceedings. And finally, in this segment, since the start of the bilateral relations between the Bahamas government and the government of Saudi Arabia in November of 2022, the two countries have sought to strengthen that relationship. On Sunday, at the office of the Prime Minister Philip Davis and other government officials engaged in a productive discussion with government officials from Saudi Arabia, including Saudi's Tourism Minister Ahmed bin Akil Al Khatib. One topic of particular discussion was to address the Saudi government's newly established investment fund, which is focused on the Caribbean. Prime Minister Davis welcomed the investment fund initiative as a significant step towards advancing infrastructure development in the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean region. According to a statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, both sides are in the final stages of discussions regarding funding for major infrastructure projects in the Bahamas. Discussions also centered around boosting the tourism sector for both countries and a possible diplomatic visa waiver agreement between the two countries to assist in a greater ease in diplomatic relations. The Saudi government reciprocated this spirit of cooperation, agreeing to promote the Bahamas as a tourism destination within Saudi Arabia, encouraging more travel and cultural exchange between the two countries following a memorandum of understanding signed in November last year between the Ministry of Tourism Bahamas and the government of Saudi Arabia. Minister Al Khatib also congratulated the Bahamas on its 50th independence on behalf of the Saudi government. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.